Alright, I'm ready to solder the tone cap to the back of the tone pot. I've selected this orange drop 103, which is a 0.01 microfarad capacitor. And it's going to go between the middle lug of the tone pot and the back of the pot, or ground. Now you can see I prepared a new pad of solder on the back of the pot. I scraped the pot with 100 grit sandpaper and hit it with a hot 40-watt iron and added some solder there. And I also put some solder on the middle lug. Next thing is to, as I showed in my treble bleed video, tin the leads of the cap, first by clipping an alligator clip to the lead to act as a heat sink so we don't burn up the body of the cap. Then just apply heat to the lead and put a little bit of solder across it until it runs over it. And the body of the cap shouldn't get hot. Same thing on the other lead. Apply the heat to the lead, and the solder just runs right over. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is place the cap over the pot, and you can see I cut one lead a little bit longer, and this is going to let me put a little bend in it. What I'm going to do is put a little bend in it like that, and I'm just going to feed that lead through that lug, and then I'm going to bend this one so that it hits the back of the pot. Something like that. So let's do the one that goes through the lug first. Again, I'm going to put the alligator clip on here as a heat sink, and maybe I'll have it facing this way to get it out of the way. And then since that heat sink works really well, I can just hold the body of the cap without burning my fingers. Since there's already solder on the lead and already solder on the lug, all I'm going to need to do is heat up the lug here until the solder melts, which will be really fast, and then feed that through and make sure the solder flows over both the lug and the lead. And hold it until it dries nice and shiny. Again, if it dries matte finish, not glossy, then you know you've got a cold solder joint, which is more likely to break, and that's no good. Alright, so the next thing to do is to move the alligator clip to this lead, and we're going to hold it, or bend it over that, hold it over that little pad of solder on the back of the pot while we heat up the pad of solder. I need some needle-nose pliers to press down on this lead so that it pushes into the melted solder. Okay, so I'm going to heat up the back until that liquefies, and then sort of push this into it. There should be enough solder in that little puddle there to cover the lead. If there's not, you can always add a little solder to the soldering iron before you start. In fact, I think I might add a little. So what I'm going to do is just put a little blob of solder on the end of the soldering iron. Just have it sitting there waiting to go. And then again, hold this down and hit it until it all fuses together. That looks a little better. So there you go. New orange drop tone cap on the back of the tone pot.